Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. If you are a real estate agent, then this show is for you specifically. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the old way of marketing your real estate business and the new way of doing it. There is a new way. It is better. It is more cost effective. It is more time efficient. And it's a lot more powerful when it comes to growing your business. And that's what we are going to be unpacking today. So get your pen and papers ready. I've got Jandre with me. How's it, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, always lucky to see you, my man.
Likewise.
Jandre is the founder of Digital Agents, and he basically works with real estate agents, helping them grow their businesses. And he's been doing it for how long now?
Shucks, 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And in that time, how many people have you worked with now? Just out of interest.
Probably more than 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. So you've got a lot of insight.
A lot.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So, dude, let's unpack the old way of real estate marketing, how people used to do it, and a lot of people are still doing it, but there are agents that are starting to connect the dots, and they're going, hold on, there's an easier way to grow my business. I don't have to run around chasing leads. I don't have to cold call all day. Let's touch on the old way, and let's share some insights, some tips, tricks, and hacks on what they can do as of today to make their lives a little bit easier using technology and so forth.
Awesome, brother. So what I've noticed, and I suppose just being in the industry for multiple years, is that many agents, and from what I'm seeing, a lot of them don't know what they don't know. And ultimately for them, I don't blame them, just purely because a lot of their principals and the people in the leadership positions are your boomers and your Gen Xers, and what they grew up in, or let me put it this way, the industry that was thriving specifically within real estate, but when it comes to marketing specifically, the best way that they could grow was through cold calling. And or let me rather put it this way, cold direct marketing efforts, if I had to put it that way. So cold calling, going door to door, flyers, road shows, and now there's something called enemy stock. So what they would do is they would go to estates and they would go and chat up security guards, giving them a little bit of cold drink. Cold drink is quote unquote synonymous with bribery, just to get a little bit of more insight about who's selling, who's not selling, and ultimately seeing if they could actually get people who are already selling. So let's say there's an agent who is selling most of the houses in a particular estate. They will want to poach that stock ultimately by bribing the security guards and getting more in touch with the homeowners, for example. So the old way of doing things, from what I'm just seeing, is it's regarding a lot of time, effort, but you're chasing. And I suppose that's the underlying thing that I've noticed. And the new way is, from what I'm noticing and what I'm seeing, is chasing no longer works, but it's more about attracting. And how we attract is by utilizing technology. But the big issue I'm seeing is most agents don't know what they don't know, purely because they're learning from, as I've mentioned, the old school principles. And what's very interesting to me is that you find an old school principle. I like to say that they're living in the Stone Age, right? Like the Flintstones. Remember the Flintstones? Yeah. So I like to see it as, you get these characters that are living in the Stone Age, but they're utilizing modern technology in their day-to-day efforts, right? They've got smartphones, they use washing machines, they've got air fryers, all right? They're up to date when it comes to modern technology, when it comes to their day-to-day, but when it comes to lead generation, they still prefer to stick to the old school way of things. So unfortunately, from what I'm just seeing, is most agents don't know what they don't know, so they stick to the old school way of doing things. And for me, ultimately, the reason why I have the business is to showcase what's new and what's working. So from what I'm seeing, what's working, what has been working for a very long time, is running either lead generation ads online by utilizing platforms like Facebook and Instagram. I mean, look, you can go on Twitter, you can go on YouTube, you can do Google ads, but from where we've seen getting quality leads is by utilizing platforms where majority of your market is spending their time on. And what we've seen Facebook and Instagram is where majority of the quality leads we've been getting them from there. So it's essentially utilizing the platform or the algorithm to find the leads for you so that you can then automate that process and bring the leads back to you. That would be more of a new way to do things. And I'm pretty sure we can unpack it as we go along, but that's what I've seen work very well. Utilizing online marketing and advertising to attract clients coming to you, as opposed to you utilizing the old school way of doing things, chasing after leads.
So old school, basically you're running around trying to find the leads, and the new way of doing it is really using technology to bring those people to you. Is that what you're saying?
Precisely, yeah.
And let's just, before we dive into some of the ideas around the new ways of doing things and what people can practically do to generate those leads and appointments, let's just recap. What are all the old ways? I know cold calling, I suppose cold emailing. Like, what are some of the stuff that you see people still do that you believe they should stop doing immediately?
Oh yeah, cold calling, door knocking, sending out flyers, doing road shows. For those who don't know, road shows is if you put up a gazebo maybe in the side of a suburb, or maybe you go to like a mall and you see they've got that gazebo on top, and they just sit there the whole day doing nothing. They would poach enemy stock, or they would call expired. So expired is basically going on P24, looking at
Property 24, that is.
Yeah, Property 24, looking at which homeowners are currently listing their house as for sale by owner, in a nutshell. And ultimately, in the day, it's about seeing who is listing their home, or if there was a sole mandate but that house didn't sell. Normally what happens is that the contract is typically 3 months. So then normally what agents would do is they would track and see, okay, this house has been on the market for 3 months. It was a sole mandate. It's no longer a sole mandate. Then they call that homeowner and saying, hey, I could see that your house has been in the market for 3 months. And they obviously know it was a sole mandate. Now it's no longer a sole mandate. What's happening? How can I help? So that's what I mean by cold calling expireds.
Interesting. And let's touch then on all the new things that people can start to, use to broaden their perspective, technology that they can use in order to attract. I know a lot of this might go over a lot of people's heads listening, so I want to keep it as simple as possible, and then maybe in a future episode we can dive into some nitty-gritty stuff. So what are the new tactics that's working in 2024, and what you think will continue to work 2025, 2026 and beyond?
Digital marketing, hands down. Now we could break it down in terms of platforms, but honestly, digital marketing, because at the end of the day, I don't know if you're aware of this information, especially for the agents, but there was an article, I think was released last year in March, where it said that South Africans are the biggest internet addicts in the world.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So we spend on average about 9.5 hours online on the internet every single day. The world average is about 6 hours. So we are kings of internet addicts. So if majority of South Africans are spending their time online, wouldn't it make sense to be online? Because that's where majority of the people are spending most of their time online, which is why I do, and I wholeheartedly feel that if you running digital marketing ads, mainly Facebook and Instagram ads, to one, show them a little bit more about your content, or number two, focusing a little bit more about getting more sellers or buyers, maybe putting your listings on there, or trying to get a free general CMA. So CMA is some comparative market analysis. Someone's looking to sell their home. That is one of the best, the fastest, and the easiest ways to bring and attract people coming towards you, because you're spending our time online. So why not just make it a lot easier for them instead of you having to cold call them?
What do you tell people that say, I've tried Facebook and Instagram, but it didn't work for me? First of all, I didn't get any leads, or the leads that I did get were all crappy quality. How do you navigate that conversation?
That's an interesting one. So normally what I like to tell agents, because I get that a lot. Oh, well, I try to do it myself, and what makes you different? And it's like, well, anyone can go on YouTube and watch a couple of Facebook videos about how to run ads on Facebook, or how to essentially utilize running ads on Facebook. So there's two things I typically like to counter with that. I would first ask them, okay, let's say, for example, you need to get your your heart done. Let's say you need to go through extensive surgery. Are you going to go to a doctor who's got 20 years experience? Or are you going to go to a doctor who, for example, watched a couple of videos on YouTube? You don't even know if they even qualified, but no, they've watched everything online. Most oftentimes, you're going to go with the person who's got experience. Why? Because there's a reason why they've got experience and they've got the track record. So what I see with most agents is that they have this do-it-myself mentality, and unfortunately, that's not going to help you grow at the end of the day. So what I always like to tell agents is that we have experience, we've got the receipts, and what I mean by that is proven tactics and proven processes in place. You have two choices. You can either pay in time or money, right? The money could be more from a perspective of you either invest in us and we can help you, or you're going to pay in time by ultimately getting things wrong and then having to learn through that process. So do you want it to take 6 months for you to dominate the market online, or do you want it to take 6 years where you're going to try and do it yourself? And that's ultimately what I like to tell them.
And for the people who might say, listen, I have been running my own Facebook ads and I've been getting crappy quality leads. I think that's majority of the people who are doing it themselves. You know, how is the way that you leveraging digital marketing or technology different to how they're doing it? Because you've obviously got more experience, you and your team, around these things, and that's awesome. But the question is, how do we get people to understand that it is not so much digital marketing in itself? Because that's a very broad statement. Like, it's like saying, well, you know, I need to go to a doctor. Well, what kind of doctor? Do you want to go to an orthopedic surgeon, or do you want to go to a neurosurgeon or a spine surgeon, or like what kind of doctor? A GP, normal doctor? So digital marketing is extremely broad. We all get that. But for the people who are sitting there going, oh, I've run Facebook ads, I've tried this, it's just not working. We had an agency do it for us. And again, yeah, we can debate experience, but any practical, objective comments around what you can do differently leveraging technology on platforms like Meta in order to improve, you know, your lead flow and appointment setting rates?
It all boils down to the type of ad. Personally, from what I'm seeing and what I'm seeing with many agents, is that they like to run brand awareness type of based ads, where it's either to drive more engagement or to get more awareness. And now I understand why most agents would do that, because I get the intention. You want to run an ad, you want to get people to see what you're all about, or drive more awareness, or get more engagements, likes, comments, and shares, and hopefully converting that engagement into potential leads. But unfortunately, the Meta platform doesn't work like that. So what I always like to say is that when it comes to audiences, you know, Meta puts audiences in different buckets. So for example, if you are a person where you typically see an ad and you just look at it for a few seconds and you scroll past, Meta is taking a look into how you're interacting with those type of ads. And then if you a person where you typically see an ad, you engage with it and you like, comment, and share, but you don't really move forward in the next step of the sales process. Let's say the call to action was to get them to click on a link, but you just comment and share. Meta puts you in that bucket. And then if you're someone where you see an ad, you typically click on it, you typically provide your information, you go through the next process of that typical ad, right? This is not just with one ad, but it just takes a look into every action that you take when you see an ad. It puts you in that bucket. Now, most oftentimes with many agents, what they would do is that they would run ads to people who fall within the buckets of just looking at an ad and either clicking and not moving forward, or they engage and that's it. And the problem is Meta knows down to who it needs to target. So if you want to get an appointment with a lead, but you're running an engagement ad, for example, then you're just going to get more engagement but no appointments. So we understand the nuances behind how to find and segment the right audiences. So our core focus is to find people who are being put in the bucket by Meta, that this person or these groups of people typically see an ad, they click on it, they provide the information, and based off their tracking, they would typically say, okay, this is the right person, who would then equate to a lead. So that would be more from a practical perspective of us getting the leads coming in, and it's also the messaging of the ad. So just to quickly add on to that, if you go onto a highway and you see a billboard of Coca-Cola, its main focus point is to drive awareness. All right. However, the thing is, many agents like to run that style type of ad where it's more for awareness. But what we like to focus on is what we call direct response marketing. You know how it is, which is to evoke a response out of the lead. Because if a lead just sees your ad, okay, cool, I can see you the best agent in this area, okay, that's it, they're gonna scroll past. But now with the type of ads that we run, it's to elicit a response. We're trying to create more curiosity and get them to elicit a response, and that response ultimately is for them to click on that link and then to get them to provide the information and then getting them to build out to set up an appointment. That is our entire process, and I would say that is the best tip or tactical strategy to utilize. Create more curiosity based ads that's going to get your homeowners or buyers to click on it, and then have a proven process to get them to provide the information and then booking an appointment with you from there.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing you say is like most people make the mistake of assuming by running an ad that they are going to get leads and appointments, and that's just not the case.
Yes.
Because it all boils down to who you're targeting, what the message is saying, how much curiosity you're creating, and what call to action you actually have on the other side. And a lot of people think that, well, if I boost this post, I'm assuming that's what most of them do.
Yes.
That's what most local business owners do. They go, hey, there's a big fat boost button over here. Let me click it and see if my business boosts as well. And, that's a very contradicting statement and button actually from Facebook, but because often the boost is not really doing any boosting.
It's burning the money.
On the yeah, exactly. It should be the burning money button. But I think when it boils down to leveraging these platforms, it's not just about saying, well, I spend money on it, because that doesn't mean that you've done it correctly. It doesn't mean that you've actually targeted the right people, had the right message in front of the right people, had a certain amount of curiosity, had a specific call to action that's going to get people to actually click and leave their details. At the end of the day, this is us talking about digital marketing. What role does AI play in this? Because everybody is talking about AI these days. Do you think that's playing a current role in the real estate industry at all, just out of curiosity?
Oh yes, of course, but I suppose it's how they're utilizing AI. So most agents just thinking AI popped up.
It's ChatGPT. ChatGPT is AI. If I think AI, I think everybody's sitting there going, if I think AI, it's ChatGPT.
It's ChatGPT. Only. Yeah, but they don't realize AI has been around for years. I mean, the algorithm on social media is AI, because ultimately it's consistently learning your habits and what you're looking at so that it keeps you longer on the platform.
Yeah.
But how I see it from a real estate side is, AI was only commercial last year once ChatGPT came into play.
Sure.
So how we utilize AI in our own business is we don't use ChatGPT, and I want to emphasize that because many people think that, okay, are these guys using ChatGPT to try and find buyers and sellers? No, we don't. We utilize AI to automate the process to make things a lot easier for our clients so that they're not having to manually book appointments with the leads that are interested. And ultimately for us, it's all about how can we leverage AI to just improve the overall efficiency for our clients. Because if we're looking at real estate agents, they're all over the place, right? They're in the cars, they're meeting up with clients, so they don't necessarily have a lot of time to.
It's a one-man band, right?
Exactly.
So you wear all the hats in the business.
Exactly. So most oftentimes when we would work with agents in the past, they would have to manually call the leads to set up an appointment, and that was it was a big problem because they didn't have time to call the leads. And I always have this theory where I'm like, speed to lead, you need to get to a lead as soon as possible. But then we realize in the business that these agents don't have time. So the beauty around AI is that once the lead opts in and provides the information, AI will then take them over to the next step of the process where we further qualify them. And then what it also does is that it gets them to book an appointment, and then we'll also notify the lead of, hey, you've got an appointment with X and X, here's the information, and it just makes it a lot easier. So how I see AI playing a huge role in the real estate side is that it's going to provide more efficiency within the process as well as your systems. So if you don't know how to utilize AI into your systems, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be more efficient. So I would say start looking into platforms that utilize AI to help within your client acquisition process instead of just looking at ChatGPT.
Love it. So essentially, old way is chasing after people, doing cold calling, cold emailing, roadshows, poaching enemy stock, I think you said.
Yeah, you got it.
And the new way is really just leveraging technology, which is digital marketing on platforms like Meta, doing that strategically, and then at the same time leveraging AI in order to help you be a bit more efficient on the back end of the lead generation process.
Yes.
And that in itself can help you, one, generate leads and appointments at a much lower cost, and essentially help you be more efficient as a business. And that's how it actually allows you to grow. That's beautiful. I appreciate you coming in today. I think that that was really valuable. I hope there was some value in it for you watching and listening. If there was, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe for more content like this. And then it was nice to have you here, and thanks for all the nuggets, man.
Thank you, brother. Love you being here.